Hello students, welcome to the EVS class. Today we are going to start our next chapter. Chapter number is 8, Food for Plants and Animals. About the chapter, you have learned that all living things require food to stay alive. Humans are dependent on plants and animals for their food. In this chapter, you will learn about how plants and animals get food. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, आज का हमारा टॉपिक काफी इंटरेस्टिंग है. ओके, आज हम पढ़ेंगे प्लांट्स एंड एनिमल्स हाउ गेट द फूड. स्टार्ट आवर टॉपिक. व्हाट डू प्लांट्स ईट? प्लांट्स क्या खाते हैं स्टूडेंट्स? चलो, हियर स्टार्ट. All living things on the earth are directly or indirectly dependent on plants for food. Green plants are the only living things that can make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. To prepare food, plants require water which they absorb with their roots from the soil. They take in carbon dioxide from the air through tiny openings on their leaves called stomata. Chlorophyll, a green pigment, helps to trap energy from sunlight. Plants use all these raw materials, water, carbon dioxide and chlorophyll with the sun energy to produce food in the form of sugar. Look at the picture students. Carbon dioxide plus water, sunlight, chlorophyll, glucose plus oxygen. Why does a plant kept in a dark room not produce food? Can non-green plants like mushroom make their own food? Why? How is carbon dioxide replaced in the air once the plants use it for photosynthesis? Oxygen, which is released as an end product of photosynthesis, is used by animals and humans for breathing. The plant uses the sugar produced by it for its own growth and repair of damaged cells. The extra sugar is converted into starch and is stored in different parts of the plant, which are eaten by animals and humans. Green plants are here called produces or autotrophs. Auto means self and troph means nutrition. How do non-green plants obtain food? Non-green plants like mushrooms and molds cannot make their own food due to the absence of chlorophyll. They obtain their food from the dead and decaying matter present in the soil. Parasitic plants like dodder, orchids and rafflesia grow from seed in the ground. But the young seedling twins itself around the stem of another plant and sucks water and minerals out of it. Look at the picture students. What are carnivorous plants? Carnivorous or insectivorous plants are green plants that grow in soil which is very poor in minerals. Hence they need to trap insects to get enough of the deficient mineral like nitrogen. Venus flytrap is an insectivorous plant. It has jaw-like leaves. When an insect sits on its leaves, the jaw shuts on it. The plant then gives out juice and brown iron dissolve the insect. Pitcher plant is another insectivorous. Pitcher plant is another insectivorous plant whose leaves are shaped like a vase. The vase-like leaf is filled with sweet-smelling nectar. Insects crawl into the leaves to suck nectar. On doing so, the insects slide down and fell into liquid and drown. Sundew plant is an insectivorous plant whose leaves are covered with a thick sticky hair. The sticky liquid on the hair shines when sunlight falls on it, thus attracting insects. Once an insect touches the sticky hair, it is stuck. The hair of the plants tighten their grip and the insect gets suffocated and is dissolved by the digestive juice. Do you know in which season are wild mushrooms seen growing in the garden? What color do they have? Have you seen the dodder plant growing on other plants? Have you seen an insectivorous plant? Our next topic is, how are animals grouped according to their food habits? Animals that cannot make their own food and are dependent on plants and other animals for their food are called heterotrophs. Herbivorous are animals that feed on plants only. Cow, deer, goat and buffalo are examples of herbivorous. Look at the picture. Cow, herbivorous animal. Carnivorous are animals that feed on the flesh of other animals like lion, tiger, eagle and snake are examples of carnivorous. Look at the picture, students. Okay. Omnivorous are animals that feed both on plants and other animals. Pig, ape, crow and cockroach are examples of omnivorous. Scavengers. Scavengers are the animals that feed on the flesh of dead animals. Jackal, vulture and hyena are examples of scavengers. Decomposers are microorganisms like bacteria and fungi. They break down the remains of dead plants and animals into minerals and gases which are used by green plants to make their own food. Parasites. These are animals that obtain their food by sucking nutrients from other living animals. Mosquito, leech and lice are examples of parasites. Look at the picture. Next topic is, what is a food chain? All living things depend on one another for their existence. Indeed, all living things depend directly or indirectly on plants. The sun's energy that is stored in the food prepared by plants is passed to all living beings. That is why the sun is the main source of energy on earth. A food chain is a sequence in which each animal is food for the next and there is a flow of energy from one organism to another in the form of food. All food chains have the following components. Producers. These are green plants that produce food. All food chains start with green plants. Do you know? Name two animals belonging to the group below. Herbivorous, carnivorous, omnivorous and parasites. Can you identify any food chain that you see around in your daily life? Consumers. These are living things that obtain their food directly or indirectly from plants. Herbivorous are the primary consumer while carnivorous are secondary consumer. Decomposers. The body of dead plants and animals is broken down by microorganisms like bacteria and fungi which are called decomposers. Food chains operate everywhere on land, in rivers, etc. Food chain. First one is plant, deer, lion. In water, very small fresh water organism, then small fish, then big fish. On land, plant, grasshopper, frog, snake, vulture. What is a food web? Food chains do not occur independently in nature. Many food chains get interlinked because most organisms eat more than one kind of food. Many interlinked food chains form a food web. A balance in nature is maintained by food chains and food webs. If any one member of a food chain increases or decreases abnormally in number, it adversely affects all other members of the food chain. Look at the food web draws. Okay students, now we here to conclude our chapter with remember points. Green plants can make their own food by the process of photosynthesis and are called autotrophs. Non-green plants obtain food from the dead and decaying plant and animal matter present in the soil. Parasitic plants obtain nutrients from green plants that make their own food. Carnivorous or insectivorous plants are green plants that grow in soil which is very poor in minerals like nitrogen, hence they trap insects and eat them. According to their food habits, animals are grouped into herbivorous, carnivorous, omnivorous, scavengers, decomposers and parasites. A food chain is a sequence of organisms in which each one food for the other. A food chain is a sequence of organisms in which each one is food for the other. Many food chains are interlinked to form a food web. Okay students, here our end of the topic and we will meet in the next chapter. Okay, all the best.